Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for taking some time out of your day to join me. It is Friday, which means I have my final start-sit video coming at you. In it, I'm also going to give you all of my updated tiers. That means I'm going over quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, kickers, and defenses as well to get you guys all of the latest news, knowledge, and information you're going to need to dominate your opponents in the final week of fantasy football. It's been an awesome season. Let's finish it strong. I'm going to go over some of the key player situations. I have 10 of them for you. I also want to give you a heads up. With the situation in Green Bay, they're playing for basically nothing right now. So most of the players that I have ranked for them, I have near the bottom of my list with the exception of A.J. Dillon. I think he sees most of the work in that Green Bay rushing attack. Otherwise, it is going to be a risky proposition at best to start any of them. If you guys are new to the channel, if you have enjoyed the content before, or if you haven't gotten to it yet for whatever reason, please consider liking and subscribing. Your support means so very much to me. It helps me out a bunch. It allows me to do what I love so I can keep bringing you guys the content that you love. If you have any start or sit questions, I'm going to be checking here early and often. I'm also going to be available on Sleeper in case you want to reach out to me there. I want to be able to support you and help you out. There is no bigger week to make decisions. With that said, done and out of the way, let's get into Week 18's Start Sit. We'll start at quarterback, and in Cincinnati, it's all about Joe Burrow. Head coach Zach Taylor and both Burrow himself already stated that he is not going to play in Sunday's season finale, so it's going to be Brandon Allen as the QB1 against Cleveland. This is a massive downgrade for the Bengals offensively as a whole, and I have adjusted my rankings as such, with both T. Higgins and Jamar Chase falling to my third tier. As usual, as it seems that it's been most of the year, more bad news out of Chicago with Justin Fields. Testing positive for the virus. Fields will once again be out Sunday. Andy Dalton looks like he has the green light and will be added to the 5th tier in an awesome matchup. Darnell Mooney takes a hit with this news as well, and he drops to my 4th tier. There is quite a tough situation brewing in San Francisco with Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance. Garoppolo was able to log limited sessions in practice on both Wednesday and Thursday. It looks like he has a real shot of playing Sunday against the Rams. I'm going to keep Trey Lance where he's at, but if Jimmy starts, he'd be in the middle of my 4th tier. Keep an eye on what comes from Friday's reports in practice because it'll be very telling. In the first section for my updated tiers at quarterback, I'm looking at Kyler Murray with a home matchup against Seattle. The Cards picked it up in a big way last week, crushing Dallas, and I think they carry that momentum here and surge into the playoffs. They will be aided heavily by Murray, who has a huge game both on the ground and through the air. To the 2nd tier, my 5th-ranked quarterback on the week is Justin Herbert traveling to Vegas. With everything at stake for the Chargers, I believe it's Herbert who rises to the occasion most, delivering some critical strikes to his playmakers as LA picks up the dub. Into tier number 3, and it's Jalen Hurts at home against Dallas. He could certainly struggle against a tough Dallas defense, but that has never seemed to hurt him from putting up solid fantasy points before. Par for the course once again here. In tier 4, my 15th ranked quarterback is Ryan Tannehill traveling to Houston. The matchup is solid, and Tannehill has been too for almost the entire year. The Titans take care of business as Tannehill manages his way to another Tennessee victory. In my 5th and final tier for quarterbacks, Jordan Love travels to Detroit to take on the Lions. And while he isn't likely to put up big numbers, he will perform better than he did against the Chiefs back in Week 9 as he rolls Detroit. Into the running back situation room we go, and we're starting with Joe Mixon in Cincinnati. It would be another big blow to them if he cannot play. While he was initially ruled out almost immediately due to testing positive, there is a small chance that he can test out of the protocols and play. That being said, I think it is highly unlikely that the Bengals rush him back into action. Samaje Perine should see a heavy workload in his stead, but I am less than excited with how this offense is going to look without Joe Burrow. I am removing Mixon from my rankings because of this. Perine is a high-end flex option for me, and he certainly has some upside in this game. His range of outcomes, however, is pretty wide. In Arizona, we take a look at both Chase Edmonds and James Conner. There is a lot of uncertainty in this backfield right now, with Edmonds missing practice through Thursday. Conner, on the other hand, was limited on Thursday and looks like the healthier of the two backs right now. Friday will say a lot about how touches could be distributed, but with the info we have right now, Conner becomes the better option of the two, and Chase Edmonds is moved down in my list. If only one back is healthy here, there is a ton of value, and they would move to the top of my fourth tier. If both end up playing, however, I prefer Conner due to the touchdown upside. Both would be nothing more than flex options if that happens. The last rusher we'll look at is Antonio Gibson, who is limited on both Wednesday and Thursday. The practice report on Friday is going to be very telling to see what we can expect from him over the weekend. Just coming off of the COVID list and already dealing with a hip injury, I am skeptical that he makes it back, and even if he does, it's probably not going to be in any kind of full capacity. I'm leaving him off of my list. I'm moving Jarrett Patterson up into my fourth tier. He has plenty of upside in a smash matchup against the lifeless Giants. In my updated tiers, at the top of tier 1, my number 1 running back overall in week 18, it is Jonathan Taylor traveling to Jacksonville. A fitting end to a remarkable season is imminent for Taylor, who will run rampant on a hopeless Jags defense. Monster upside in this one. At the bottom of my second tier and my 8th overall running back, Donta Foreman finds himself traveling to Houston. I do not care how aggressive it is. Foreman deserves it in this smash matchup against one of the worst rushing defenses in the league, and he takes advantage. At the bottom of tier 3, Damian Harris travels to Miami. It looks like Harris will once again suit up, and after a big day on just a few touches last week, expect a slightly heavier workload here for my 15th ranked player. Up next and at the top of tier 4, A.J. Dillon travels to Detroit. There is certainly risk with any Packer this week, but Dillon carries the least of it and will likely see heavy usage, as Green Bay gives Aaron Jones most of the day off in a meaningless game. My last RB2 and at the top of tier 5, it is Michael Carter traveling to Buffalo to take on the Bills. Carter was well on his way to a huge performance last week before going down early with that concussion. I think he takes advantage of a struggling Buffalo front in this one. There is just one wide receiver that I want to talk about in this week 18. It's Deontay Johnson traveling to Baltimore. He was placed on the reserve COVID list on Thursday, so it's going to be very tough for DJ to clear protocols and suit up, and because of it, I am removing him from my rankings. Chase Claypool sees a bump because of this, but I think Ray McLeod is actually the one that benefits most from it. James Washington is clearly going to be more involved as well. Both of those last two are decent dart throws with upside against a Ravens secondary that is getting lit up nearly every week. At the top of tier 1 and at number 6, I have A.J. Brown traveling to Houston to take on the Texans. He may not need to do much, but that doesn't mean that he won't. The massive potential is way too much to pass up on, so hopefully Tannehill gets bored of handing it off and gives Brown enough opportunities. To the top of tier 2 and my 7th ranked wide receiver traveling to Vegas, it is Keenan Allen, who is going to be needed in a big way in the most important game of the season for LA. I think he steps up here and hits pay dirt. At the top of tier 3, it's Jamar Chase traveling to Cleveland. I have plenty of concerns with Joe Burrow out, but I am betting on the talent even in these unfortunate circumstances. To tier 4 and at the bottom of it is Chase Claypool traveling to Baltimore. As probably the wide receiver 1 for Pittsburgh, Claypool should see a bunch of work against the league's worst passing defense over the last month. He has massive upside. My 26th ranked wide receiver of the week and the top of tier 5, it is Amari Cooper on the road against Philadelphia. While he's probably shadow covered by Darius Slay here, Cooper has the big play ability that can come at any time. So we hope for a broken play and we live with the results. With more tight ends than usual in week 18 to look at, we're going to start with Darren Waller in Vegas. Limited on both Wednesday and Thursday, and with a Sunday night game on tap, it'll be extremely risky to wait on Waller unless we get an update on his status. If you are wanting to risk it, ensure that you have Foster and Moreau on your roster to slide in if Waller is indeed inactive. Jared Cook could be available and would be a decent dart throw as well. Moving to Atlanta, next I'm going to talk about Kyle Pitts. After not practicing Wednesday, Pitts was limited Thursday and has a chance to play in the second slate of games on Sunday while dealing with a hamstring injury. He's just 59 yards from breaking Mike Ditka's rookie record for receiving yards by a tight end, which I am sure is adding to him wanting to suit up. Tyler Higbee or Gerald Everett could be available if you're needing an emergency replacement in case Pitts can't go and you decide to risk waiting. To Philadelphia we go. It's Dallas Goedert, who was placed on the reserve COVID list on Monday. Owners are going to know if they need to make a plan by Friday because of the short week in Philadelphia as they play on Saturday. Have a backup plan in place in case that he is not active. He drops a bit here, but I'm still going to keep him ranked. In my updated tiers, at the bottom of tier 1, it is George Kittle traveling to LA to take on the Rams. If Kittle starts seeing more targets, he is going to start producing more. It's been the only thing missing over the last couple of weeks, and that should change against LA. To tier 2, at the top, and my 6th ranked tight end is Dalton Schultz traveling to Philly. More work is incoming for Schultz, who will benefit greatly from Michael Gallup going down. He saw a massive target share last week. The last tight end one of the week, and at the bottom of tier number 3, it is Tyler Higbee at home against the 49ers. With his role in this offense secure, Higbee does not have a high ceiling, but his floor is dependable and it is solid. To tier 4, at the bottom, it's Tyler Conklin at home against Chicago. Gronklin has seen an uptick in targets as of late, and that should continue against the Bears as these two teams battle for absolutely nothing in Week 18. With tight ends complete, let's take a final look at both my defenses and my kickers for Week 18. For my defenses, it starts in tier 1 at the top with the Buffalo Bills at home against the Jets. Buffalo will want to enter the playoffs on a high note after an up and down season, and the Jets provide the perfect opportunity to do just that. The Bills crush New York. Into my kickers, I'm looking at Harrison Butker at my 2nd spot on the road against Denver. This will be an exclamation point victory for the Chiefs, who come up just short in their bid for the number 1 seed in the AFC. Butker gets plenty of opportunities in it. And that's all she wrote for Week 18 start, sits, and updated tiers. Thank you guys for taking some time to join me for it. I hope it was helpful and that you learned a bunch. If you guys have any start or sit questions, especially as we get into the weekend, I'm going to be checking early and often. I want to be able to help you, so make sure you drop those comments or hit me up on Sleeper. If you are new to the channel, if you haven't done it yet for whatever reason, please consider liking and subscribing. Your support means so very much to me. It helps me out a ton and I really appreciate it. A heads up for those wondering, since we are done with the fantasy season, I am going to be focusing on the NFL playoffs. I'll be doing game recaps and reactions for every single playoff game, so make sure you check those out. As we transition away from the NFL, my next to-dos are going to be the college basketball season. I'm going to be looking at teams, I'm going to be looking at information, game recaps, and reactions for that as well. This is Relentless Press. I'm your host, Abraham Opatz, and we'll see you next time.